Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Hub back into the video today, and today the Houston Rockets have extended general manager Rafael Stone, and also not only have they extended Rafael Stone to a multi-year extension, but they are also extending a assistant GM, Stone's assistant GM Eli Witus, with extensions. So both guys have been extended. And I'm not going to really talk about Eli Witus. Don't know too much about him as an assistant GM, although I think he does have to do a lot for this organization. And I just, I want to focus on Rafael Stone in this video and talking about my thoughts on this extension. And so let's get into it. So, if you would have asked me about a year ago about Rafael Stone getting an extension, I would say, happy for him. It's not a bad move, but I just don't know. But a year later, just from where I would have been last year, I am so excited that the Rockets have extended Rafael Stone. I love what he's done as the GM in the last year or so. Since last offseason, I loved what he did in the draft. I think the two selections he made in the draft are a big reason why he is getting this extension. Seeing a talent like Cam Whitmore at pick 20 and, making that was a huge pick right there, because teams were passing on Cam Whitmore. The Rockets easily could have been another team to pass on Cam Whitmore, and they didn't. They drafted him, and he was amazing for the Rockets in his rookie season, averaging about 13 points per game, 4 rebounds per game. Was a great three-point shooter. Was one of the best three-point shooters of the team, shooting like 37%. And then Thompson, who Stone drafted 4th overall, was great for this team. And other players that Stone has drafted in these first rounds the last couple of years have, turned out to be really good players. He selected, Jalen Green, number 2 overall. He's been a late bloomer a little bit because he started, last in the year, he really started to, get it together and play better basketball. I think one of his bigger moves is Alperen Sengun, because if you guys remember, he traded up for Sengun. When the Rockets drafted Alperen Sengun, there wasn't an original draft pick. They traded 2 future first round picks to the Thunder for I believe it was pick 16, not 13, pick 16 to select Sengun. And he saw a good future there as well, and he's now the future of the Rockets. He's their cornerstone. He is what they're building everything off of him. And not only did he draft some of these guys like Jalen Green, Amin Thompson, Cam Whitmore, Jalen Green, there are other names I could mention, draft guys like Tari Eason, Jabari Smith Jr. But also I think the biggest move Rafael Stone has done to this team and helped with his team is bringing in Ime Udoka as the head coach. I think that is ultimately, love some of the draft moves he's made with Amin Thompson, Cam Whitmore, and Sengun. But I think the biggest move he's made as a GM, and the best move he's made as a GM, is bringing in Ime Udoka as the Rockets head coach. He has done an amazing job for the Rockets as their head coach. And I don't know where the Rockets would be without him. I think they'd be a good team without. If you had this roster but with a different coach, this would not be a 41-41 basketball team. This would not be a team with the record of 500. Maybe this team would have 30 to 35 wins around the projected win total that they were supposed to have, but they would be a totally different team without Ime Udoka. I also want to give Stone credit for some of the signings he made in the offseason that I think were good moves, bringing in guys like Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks. I think you overpaid just a little bit for those two guys, but look, you were a team. I've talked about this. You were a team that was one of the worst teams in the league the season before, won only 22 games, and you have a lot of money to spend, like $100 million to spend, or $60 million to spend, whatever it was. You're going to have players wanting a lot of money from you, knowing that they're joining a terrible team, or a team that was a terrible team, and not only that, but that you have a lot of money to give. They're going to ask for money. Any player in free agency who knew they could, get value would do that. And that's what Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks, they had a high demand to join the Rockets, to join a team that only had 20 wins the season before. And they both were good for this team. They both helped out. Brooks, I think, has helped out the young players a tremendous amount because of, I think he's taught a lot of these guys, a lot. And he's been a great voice for this locker room. And you don't mess with these guys. And you got Dylan Brooks protecting them, and I think they've learned a lot from Dylan Brooks, to be honest. And then you got Fred VanVleet, who's been an amazing facilitator for this team. He's done a great job for the Rockets. And so, yeah, I think those are two excellent signings. And then I want to talk about one of Stone's most recent moves, and that was a trade I really loved that Stone made, was getting a big man like Steven Adams, and all you had to give up was Victor Oladipo, basically a useless contract because Victor Oladipo was not playing for the Rockets at the time. He did not play for the Memphis Grizzlies at all, and a second-round pick to acquire Steven Adams. Steven Adams is now going to be the backup center for the Rockets. I don't know, if you look at a lot of teams, I would say probably 15. I would go as far to say maybe half of the NBA, 15, maybe 14, 15 of the other 29 teams. Steven Adams most likely would be the starting center for 14 out of the other 29 teams. Steven Adams is an elite center. He's a great center. He's a great rebounder. I think he's going to bring in He's going to bring in some help with the rebounding next season, which is going to be great, and he's going to help the Rockets move the ball a little bit. Being so good at setting screens for the Rockets, I think he's going to be great for guys like Jalen Green and Fred VanVleet, and I'm really excited to see what Steven Adams will bring to the team. And even though he's going to be coming off the bench, he's also he's a really good defensive center as well, which will be good for the Rockets defensively. But just knowing that the Rockets only give up Oladipo, a useless contract, and a second-round pick for him was a great move and a great trade by Rafael Stone. Let me know your thoughts on the Rockets extending Rafael Stone and his assistant GM Eli Witus in the comment section. That's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out. Go Rockets.